Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about a book that's, well, it's a classic for a reason. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? It's a really simple story, but it's packed with some pretty deep truths about how we all deal with change, at work and just in life in general. So let me ask you this right off the bat. When things around you suddenly shift, the things you count on, what's your gut reaction? Do you kind of freeze up? Do you fight it? Or are you the type to just start looking for what's next? Keep that in mind as we go. Okay, so before we really dive in, we gotta get the lingo down. The whole story is built on two super simple ideas. First, cheese. It's not really about cheese, of course. It's a metaphor for whatever it is you want out of life. A great job, a happy relationship, good health, you name it. And the maze? Well, that's just the world you have to navigate to find your cheese. All right, so in this little fable, there are four characters, and they're really meant to represent the different parts of all of us. The simple, instinct-driven side and the more complex, emotional, thinky side. Here's how it all breaks down. You've got two groups here. On one side, you have the mice, Sniff and Scurry. They're pure instinct. Sniff has a knack for smelling change in the air early on, and Scurry, well, he just scurries into action, no questions asked. Then you have the little people, Hem and Haw. They're the ones who think and feel and, honestly, overthink everything. Hem just digs in his heels, denies change is even happening. But Haw, he's kind of our hero here. He's the one who eventually learns to adapt. As we go, see which one of these sounds a little bit like you.
So, the story gets started when all four of them hit the jackpot. They find this place called Cheese Station C, and it is loaded with all their favorite cheese. For a good long while, life is absolutely perfect.
And man, did they get comfortable. Especially Hem and Haw. They got so complacent, maybe even a little arrogant. They felt like they earned this cheese, that it was theirs forever. They basically thought the party would never end, so they stopped paying attention to what was really going on. And then, bam. The one thing they thought they could count on, the thing that was supposed to last forever, it just disappears. They wake up one morning and the cheese is just gone. And this is where you really see the difference. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, they weren't even surprised. They'd noticed the cheese pile was getting smaller and a little older. So what do? They just lace up their running shoes and head back out into the maze to find more. But Hem and Haw? Oh, they were totally blindsided. They were shocked, they were angry, and they felt like it was all so unfair. And this line from Hem, it's just perfect, isn't it? It captures that feeling of injustice we all get sometimes when change happens to us. He complains, he blames, he gets mad, but he doesn't do the one thing he needs to do: move. Okay, so while Hem decides he's gonna stay put and wait for his old cheese to magically reappear, Haw starts to realize that, maybe that's not a great plan. And this is where his real journey begins. Now, Haw knows he needs to do something. He gets it. The real problem is staying in a place with no cheese. But he's terrified. He's scared of what's out there in the maze, scared of getting lost, scared of failing. He's totally stuck between a bad situation he knows and a potentially better one that's a complete unknown. And this is the game changer. He asks himself this one simple, incredibly powerful question. And just asking it helps him step outside of his fear for a second and think about what's possible. It's the key that finally unlocks the door. So he finally musters up the courage to go. And as he ventures out into the dark, scary maze, he starts writing what he's learning on the walls. Little reminders for himself, and maybe, just maybe, some hope for his friend Hem, if he ever decides to follow. His first big aha moment is this: the change wasn't actually that sudden. The signs were there all along, right? The cheese was getting old, the pile was shrinking. The lesson? You have to pay attention. You have to anticipate that change is coming. Now, this one is huge. Haw figures out that instead of focusing on what he's afraid of, he can focus on what he's looking for. He starts picturing himself finding new cheese, imagining how good it'll taste. And that mental picture, that vision of success, is what gives him the fuel to keep going when things get tough. This is a massive turning point in his thinking. He completely flips his idea of what safe means. He realizes, hey, wait a minute, the real danger isn't out there in the maze. The real danger is staying right here in this empty, cheeseless situation. The only true safety he learns is in moving forward. And this really gets to the heart of it all. Before Haw could find new cheese on the outside, he had to let go of his old beliefs on the inside. The belief that he was entitled to his cheese, the belief that all change was bad,
and the belief that he wasn't strong enough to handle the maze. And you know what? After all that fear and all that learning, his courage pays off, big time. He finds Cheese Station N, and it's filled with more amazing cheese than he ever could have imagined. And guess who's already there? Sniff and Scurry, of course. So what did all those little messages he left on the wall add up to? Well, they come together to form a kind of roadmap, a guide for navigating change in our own lives. Okay, so this slide right here is basically the whole book in a nutshell. This is the final handwriting on the wall that Haw writes when he gets to his destination. It's the entire philosophy, all the lessons learned, all in one place. So let's just boil this all down. What are the big takeaways for us? First up, change happens. It's a fact of life, so expect it, anticipate it. Second, adapt quickly. The longer you wait around completing about the old cheese, the longer it'll take to find new cheese. Third, enjoy the change. Try to see it as an adventure, something to learn from. And finally, always be ready. Because guess what? They're gonna move the cheese again. It's a cycle. And that's really how the story leaves us, with this powerful idea. The point isn't to find some perfect stash of cheese that will last forever. The real goal is to learn how to move with the cheese, to adapt, and to see every ending not as an end, but as a brand new beginning. Which brings it all back to you. After hearing this little story, maybe ask yourself, what old cheese in your life might be getting a little bit moldy? And more importantly, what amazing new cheese could be out there waiting for you if you just find the courage to step back into the maze and start looking?